Hello, back to Zecher, lemaaseh Bereshis, back to our snakes. Now, snakes, interestingly enough, Hashem made it that some of them lay eggs, and some snakes, they give birth to live snakes. And they're in their body, but they have a membrane, they have a clear membrane, and they come out of the mother snake's body in the clear membrane. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go back to our baby snakes that are in eggs. So Hashem gave them, He designed them with a sharp egg tooth on the tip of the nose or the snout, and it cuts a slit in the shell, and He pokes his head out, and he gets some air, and then he might slide right back into the shell if he's afraid of anything, and stay in there for a while. They don't come out, and after a few hours, after hatching, the egg tooth will just drop off of his snout. So you see that Hashem designed it for a purpose, and when the purpose was finished, it just falls right off. Now, because it served its purpose already. Now, some snakes give birth, like as we said, to fully developed live young. Boa constrictors do, rattlesnakes do, and adders do. The eggs develop inside the mother's body, surrounded by a see-through bag called a membrane, and while the baby snake is developing inside the mother, it gets its food from the yolk of the egg, which is so by the regular eggs also. They also have yolks, that's the food for the baby as it develops. Now when they come out, the ones that have, they're live ones, they're still inside the membranes when they're born. Those membranes are clear and thin and tough. And they also have this egg tooth, and they also make a slit. They make a cut in the membrane, and then they slither out, which I'm going to show you a picture of. The timber rattlesnakes' mothers defend their newborn babies for a few days. All other snakes lay the eggs and goodbye. They're gone. They don't defend them in any way to protect them at all. So we have three pictures here. The top picture shows a tree python. She just finished laying them. She is guarding them for a little while, but she's going to go away. The middle picture is the membrane. It's also a looks like a boa. It is a boa, a rainbow boa, that is inside of its membrane sac and it's just crawling out. And the bottom one shows a rat snake that's coming out of its egg, and you'll see how enormous it is, and you wonder how it fit into that egg. Now, in Europe, there's a snake called an adder. They give birth in summer, and the young have to grow very fast so that they're big enough to survive winter hibernation. It's very cold there. So Hashem designed it that they are born exactly the right time and grow fast enough so that they're ready. Now, in the winter time when it is, in places that are cold, for example, where we lived in Fallsburg, so we had many garter snakes. We used to find them in our yard. And they, at night, in the winter, they hibernate and they all sleep together by the thousands. And I'm going to show you a picture. And the bottom picture is the western diamondback rattlesnake in their winter hiding place. Several hundred are huddling together for warmth, not eating or drinking, moving a little, very little, all the way from November to late February, in small caves or chambers beneath the fallen rocks. This is a picture taken in Texas. The top picture of the garter snakes is in Canada, in Alberta. They're just waking up in the springtime. Now, just almost everything that Hashem created has some use for mankind. sometimes direct and sometimes indirect in the sense that, let's say, the rat snakes eat rats, which is very helpful for mankind. Otherwise, the rats eat their crops. Otherwise make a nuisance of themselves. So the snakes are very important helpers for farmers around the world by eating huge numbers of rats, mice, and other pests that consume the farmers' crops. In the Oriental countries, snakes are a source for various medicines. Some helpful medicines are made in Western countries also. Antivenin, the antidote for snake poison, is made from poison itself. Snakes are eaten by people in many countries. They are a source of food for many birds and mammals. Snake skins are very attractive, and they're used to make jewelry, which I'm going to show you a picture soon. A medicine has been manufactured by a big drug company that can prevent blood clots, which can trigger heart attacks. It's based on the protein of a saw-scaled viper's venom. Animals bitten by some snakes bleed internally because the venom contains an anticoagulant. After much research and testing, they found a protein of this snake's venom that can keep human blood platelets from sticking together. The drug is called Aggrastat, and that's very helpful for people. That's approved by the FDA. Now, there is great wisdom and power of Hashem to be seen in the instincts and the strategies with the matching body traits that Hashem gave the various snakes for their defense against predators. The first line of defense is camouflage. The colors and the patterns match their surroundings in most snakes, blending in with rocks, grass, dead leaves, sand, and leaves and flowers in the trees. The horned viper buries itself in the sand so it cannot be seen by enemies. The vine snake has another deterrent for enemies, for predators. It opens its mouth very wide, and the inside of the mouth is bright red, and it scares off the predator. The grass snake has been given the instinct to play dead. It rolls onto its back, opens its mouth, and keeps quite still. And most predators prefer healthy prey, so they leave it alone. Then when the predator goes away, they come back to themselves and just crawl away. And I have a picture actually of another snake that does this. It's an American snake. The hog-nosed snake will also play dead. And it's very convincing looking. The cobras, when they want to scare away a predator, they spread their hood wide to make themselves look bigger than they are, to frighten off an enemy, and to make themselves look too big to swallow anyway. So let's look at some pictures. The top picture is actually snakeskin jewelry. The middle picture is camouflage snakes. Look at the patterns, how they blend in with the leaves behind, under them. And there's three little pictures. One shows the African boomslang, which is inflating his throat to make himself look bigger and more dangerous. Then there's other snake that's opening his mouth wide with all the pink inside to look scary. And then there's a picture of a hog-nosed snake looking like it's dead, which it's not. Now, some cobras have eye spots in the back of their hoods to make them look even more scary than they already look. The hog-nosed snake is harmless, but makes itself look dangerous. It flattens its neck to make a hood just like a cobra. It has no poison, and it doesn't have a serious bite, but it works. It hisses loudly and strikes towards the enemy, puts on a whole bluff to scare away predators. The cottonmouth, the garter snakes, and other snakes give off a foul, strong-smelling liquid from their tail. And I can attest to this, and so can Meir Shalom and Yehuda Leib, because we all picked up the garter snakes in our yard and found out their defense. The coral snake has very bright colors. They are a warning to stay away and leave them alone. Their colors are very startling to the would-be predator, and they have very strong poison. They're very poisonous. They're American snakes. So Hashem created other snakes with very similar colors so that they can imitate the coral snake and predators will leave them alone. This is the real coral snake, and the other ones have similar colors. Let me see what they are again. This is a milk snake. This is a milk snake, and these are corn snakes. So they benefit from the warning colors, even though they are not dangerous. That helps keep predators away from them. We're almost finished. We're just going to see a couple of pictures here. More pictures. Here we have a picture of an Indian cobra raising up and flattening its hood. The bottom picture shows this tremendous camouflage of a snake, how it has patterns and colors that break up the outline of it so it doesn't look like a whole body. Okay, now finally we're going to finish our introduction to snakes, and then next week in Mitzvah Hashem we'll start doing individual snakes. But the last picture for the general introduction to snakes is a picture of a palm viper on a palm tree, and you'll see how perfect the camouflage is Hashem gave it. Have a great Shabbos Kodesh. Enjoy the Zecher Bereshis.